Brilliant. So I think we're going live. I shall just give it a minute or two and then I'll go and check this Miss Digital Media page, because sometimes it's a bit laggy and doesn't always show up straight away.
Okay.
So bear with me. There we are, we're live. So brilliant. So today we have another Boost Yourself interview. Today I have Miss, you're not Miss, well you are a Miss, I guess, but I'm Miss Digital Media, Beckie Sanderson, author of the Boost Yourself Journal. And we have the lovely Gila Archer with us here today, and we'll be talking about Gila, her business, and her tips that she's contributed to the Boost Yourself Journal. So I've known Gila for a year or two now, maybe?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
And so we've done various different projects and things together. So I was really excited to find that Gila had booked her interview in, and I've been excited to see you ever since. So Gila, welcome. It's so lovely to see your face. How are you doing?
All right, thank you very much for inviting me. It's lovely to be here chatting with you again. So yeah, I'm good, thank you. And the sun is shining today.
It's beautiful, isn't it? I was meant to put some washing out. I had good intentions. The washing's in the washing machine. It just hasn't made it to the line yet. So, Gila, welcome, and please do give an introduction. Tell us all about who you are, what you do. Well, I know, but everybody else perhaps might not. So please do introduce yourself.
Okay, I'm Gila Archer, and I run several businesses actually, but the one sort of here talking about with you today is my Pilates business, Gila Archer Pilates. And I also am a mum of 3 children, 13, I have to remember now, 11 and 10, because one's just had a birthday, that's right. And we've got an English Springer Spaniel who's as mad and as bouncy as, if anyone's got Springer Spaniels, they know exactly what I mean. Yeah, I love doing, I love moving, I love Pilates, obviously, but for me as well, I love doing ballet. I also train aerial silks. I love going out walking, out in the fresh air, gardening, all of those sorts of things. Love being active, really, and having a really rich, fulfilled life.
Yes. And you are a busy lady.
Yes. So with the businesses, obviously, children and family life aside, so the businesses I run an osteopathic practice with my husband. We also run an online teaching platform as well for osteopaths.
Okay.
And then the business I run on my own is my Pilates business. Now, I started doing Pilates myself years ago, like 25 years ago or something. I'd retired from competitive gymnastics and had found that my body just started aching. And I was like, I thought it hurt, well, not hurt, but, when you're training and you're doing the gymnastics, you're pushing your body. And I got to 23 years old, which is quite old for a gymnast. And I'd retired from that, but my body was aching. I needed to stretch and I needed to move, and I found Pilates. Anyway, I ended up becoming an instructor. I'm now a level 4 Pilates instructor, which is the highest level you can get in the profession currently. Before that, I was actually a primary school teacher. So I taught children, and I did a lot of work with children with poor coordination and children who had a delay in their physical development, and it impacted on lots and lots of different areas of their life, not just whether they could catch a ball or not, but it impacted on the coordination to get dressed, the coordination to use a knife and fork, to be able to write neatly in school, and all of those things. So a lot of my early teaching career, I did a lot of work with children with these poor coordination difficulties, and really a lot of the Pilates came into that as well, to support them with their movement and their coordination and their stability and their balance and so on. So I've always been interested and fascinated with how our bodies were born to move, really, and how we can facilitate that, and how important that movement is for everything else in life, absolutely everything else. And I can go into that in a bit more in a minute. But yes, so I was a primary school teacher, and then I ended up being a freelance physical education and development consultant before then starting the business that I'm running now, which is my Gila Archer Pilates. And it's a bit of a hybrid business. I teach a class in person. I have some one-to-one sessions, and I also have an online, membership as well. So, yes, very busy.
Yes, well, this is it. And this is why it's so interesting to do these interviews and things like this, because there was so many things there I didn't know about you. I didn't know that you had the other businesses. I didn't know that you used to be a teacher. I also used to be a teacher. It's always fascinating to find out where we end up.
Yeah.
But it's fascinating to know how your journey all plays a part. And that's the funny thing that I find, particularly in business, in life, is that whatever we do, it seems to come full circle and become relevant to whatever it is we're doing today.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Time and time again with lots of different people. And it's fascinating, isn't it, how the journey of life and the journey of business, and how you can make it work for you and find your niche, really. Yeah. And that's why it's amazing to see how you've put all of that experience into your books. So yes. I'm sure you've got your books to hand. I thought I was prepared and had your journal here, but oh no, here it is. I do have it. I do. And so I do have the I Choose to Move journal created when you joined my Boost Your Brand with Books course. So, but it was in addition to your other book as well, wasn't it? And it was amazing to see how you developed this so throughout the course, because you really made use of and repurposed a lot of your content. This is it. And it was to go with this book that you created with Georgia Vargas. That's right?
Yes.
So it was really special to see you do put all of that effort and repurpose the content and information that you'd already got in various different forms for your online marketing, your courses and programs and workshops, and repurpose it into the book that you've created yourself. It was amazing to see that journey. But how did you find it? How did you find that process?
Yeah, it was fantastic to be, because I'd run the business for a couple of years, and you gain clarity the more you do. You gain clarity over your messaging and the communication and what resonates with people, and then what people are struggling with as well, and how you can help them. And so it was all in my head, and I just felt I had to get it down. I thought, I've got to write this down, and the process of writing it down actually helped further clarify. It was a really good process for me as well as for the reader, because it helped me to again just clarify my approach and where I was coming from, and like you say, sort of put together over 20 years of experience in the world of movement, if you like, and put that all together and into a context of why movement is so important, especially in today's very sedentary lifestyle that we lead. And the book was great. It was a fantastic, loved writing the book. And it's quite a practical book, and I didn't want people sat down reading. The whole point was I wanted to get people moving. So it's like, stop reading and get up and moving. But then when I spoke to you and we had a chat, and we realised, actually, I could repurpose a lot of that, and with a journal, make it far more hands-on for people. So they sort of got the background, if you like, the context, where I was coming from, but actually this helped them to implement all those things I was talking about, all the strategies and everything, to really incorporate exercise easily into your everyday life. However busy you are, you can do it. If it's important enough to you to want to do it. And doing the journal with you and your course, again, it was great to just be able to take people through step by step and get them, to work through and just think about their goals and just have that time to literally journal and write things down. So yeah, a really, really good process.
I totally agree with what you were saying though about the journey of writing your own book, as a way to kind of bring all of that knowledge and experience and expertise together into one place. Writing it down is really, really cathartic, therapeutic for you as a business owner. It's a great way for you to gain that confidence or regain that confidence in yourself and your expertise and your experience, but also as a way to kind of shape and get that vision for what you're trying to help people with.
Yeah.
And as a business owner, that's really, really powerful. I did the same thing with mine, and I then launched a course from it, and I've gone on to do other things. So it is really powerful and a really helpful approach to business development, although you might not necessarily or ordinarily think so. But it took me 16 days to write mine. How long did it take you to write yours?
What, my book?
Yeah.
This book took me 12 weeks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, about right.
Yeah. Yeah, I was really quite focused on it. I would sit at children's swimming lessons and be sat writing and, in the car, and I had my little notebook and I like to physically write it and then, type it up afterwards. Yeah.
Well, the thing is as well, Gila, what I like after working with you is you're so hardworking, you're really productive, you're an action taker, and so it was great to see how you progress through my course, and then beyond that, how you implement it. You learn the stuff and you do it, and I guess that's part of your passion that I bet you translate when you're working with your own clients. So that's enough about books and stuff for now. What about what you're doing now? Who are you helping now? And what are the challenges you face? Certainly, I feel like your ideal client, so I resonate with a lot of what you say.
Yeah, so with the main part of my business is helping busy professional women who struggle to find time, which I think many of us will resonate with, but find time to exercise. And I help them lead a physically active, fulfilled life, but in an enjoyable and easy way. So it's not exercise is another chore on your endless to-do list of things you've got to do and tick off, and it's the one that always gets pushed to the bottom that you never get quite round to doing, and then you feel rubbish about it and you haven't done any, and so we'll do some tomorrow, and good intentions always end up disappearing out the window because there's so many other things demanding our attention. And so that is who I work with, and I have an approach which I talk about in the book, and the journal takes you through, which it's not just it's not just the Pilates. That's just like a small bit of it, and that's something I realized was when I was teaching my classes when I first started out, and people say, "Oh, I love your class, it's brilliant. I feel so much better afterwards. I'm standing taller. I feel more energized, whatever." And then the following week, I wouldn't see them. And I'd like, why is that? They really enjoyed it, yet they're not here. And then I'd see them a few weeks later and like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I had childcare, or I had to work late, or I work shifts." And I was like, it got quite frustrating as an instructor because I could see how much they were gaining from it. But you only gain that if you actually do it. You can't delegate your exercise to anyone else. You have to do it yourself. And so I was like, right, I've got to find a way that I can help these women, because I knew what it was like. And the only reason I was there at the class was because I wasn't doing it for me. I was doing it for everyone else that I was teaching. It was part of my job. If it had been a class I was going to for me, I probably would have been in exactly the same position. And I had been many times where I talked myself out of doing stuff with the excuse of, "I'm just too busy," or, "I'm just too busy." And so I really wanted to be able to find a way. And I thought, it's not just the Pilates. The Pilates is fantastic. There are so many benefits to Pilates, but you've got to do it. So what's the problem? What's stopping people doing it? Okay, they might not like it, that's fine. But there's other types of exercise. What is stopping people? And there's two other things, like missing pieces, if you like. One is your mindset and having a positive mindset. And the second one is having powerful habits. But with those three things, with a positive mindset, powerful habits, and then bite-sized Pilates, so little short sessions, 15 minutes, whatever, that's all you need, you can actually fit and do your exercise easily, consistently, and actually enjoy doing it. And that's what so many of my members have experienced now. And it's just part of their lifestyle.
That's fantastic. Well, because I said no more book stuff, but actually I've forgotten about the tips, which was the main reason for being here today. Really of me. But so Gila's first tip in the Boost Yourself journal is love yourself enough to exercise today. Nurture your mind and body with mindful movement. So I guess that goes quite well with your mindset angle that you were talking about. But can you explain a little bit more about why you've given us this tip for the book?
Yeah. Again, I've touched on it a little bit, but love yourself enough to exercise is really thinking about prioritizing you. We're so, particularly as women, not all, and it was generalizing, I know slightly, but we spend a lot of time looking after everyone else. Women tend to be, more of the caregivers often, and so on. And that goes right back through to our ancestors, and the roles that we had. And we give all our time and our energy to looking after everyone else and making sure everyone else is all right. But we forget about ourselves. But you can't pour from an empty cup, as the saying goes, and whatever. And you just end up, just not actually looking after yourself. And I always say, your health and your fitness and your mental health, your physical health is your responsibility. No one else's. No one else is going to be able to do it for you or be able to, step in and is responsible for doing that. You are responsible for your own health. And it's so easy to make those excuses. And I know, because I did it when my children were little, I just felt I couldn't leave them. No one else could look after them quite like I could. There was always something else to do. And I would beat myself up about it. It's sort of, mental voices in your head saying, well, you should really go to a class. You should do some exercise, because I knew, we know exercise is good for us, but we weren't evolved to exercise. So it's like, you should be doing this, you should be doing that. Then the other voice saying, well, yes, but you've got 3 little children, you need to be looking after them, they need you, they're your responsibility, and you have this conflict in your head all the time, and you feel guilty whether you do or guilty whether you don't. Or if I did go to a class, I wasn't really present.
You just climbed in my head. It's completely like you just climbed in my head.
You'd be at the class and you'd be thinking, right, well, I hope they finish on time because I've really got to get back because I've still got all these. You're not concentrating, and you're therefore not getting the benefit of doing it. So that sort of links to the next bit, which is nurturing your mind and body with mindful movement. It's being really present with what you're doing. And it's much easier to find 15, 20 minutes of uninterrupted time than it is to find the time to go to a class, say, which is certainly pre-COVID was fairly the norm of how we would exercise. We would go to an hour's class, but that meant you had to drive there, you had to find parking space, do the hour, come back. It takes almost 2 hours possibly. But if the way fitness works and exercise works and looking after your body is you need to be consistent. If you're going to get the benefits, just doing something once in the blue moon, you're more likely to injure yourself than actually do any good. It's about being consistent. Yeah. But to be consistent, it's got to be manageable. It's got to be easy. And so therefore one part of that approach is having a bite-sized Pilates, little 15, 20-minute session that you can do whenever it fits into your schedule. Because I don't know about your schedule, Becky, but people say to me, when's a good time to phone? And I'm like, just phone. If it's a good time, I'll pick up. Because there's no good time. There's always, every day is completely different. with things that goes off. And so, so that loving yourself, going back, it is really deciding, actually, you know what? I am just as important as everyone else.
Yeah.
And if I'm going to look after other people and be there, whether it's through your work or through family, elderly parents or children, whatever it is, you have to look after yourself first, because no one else is going to do that for you. And no one else can do that for you. You can delegate the washing and the emails and whatever, but you can't delegate your exercise.
Right? Oh, I didn't know that. But no, thank you. I think, and this is why I was so pleased that you'd submitted your tips for the Boost Yourself journal, because this is what it's all about. It's, that concept of just making yourself feel that little bit better by just doing, making a small change or doing something for you, concentrating on yourself. And certainly for me, that's a really big challenge, especially when it comes to anything kind of self-care, exercise, etc., etc. But I think you did a challenge. It may have been last summer, or maybe before that. Can't remember now. But you did some workshop, like daily workshops. I think it might have been a challenge you were doing. And I did some of your 15-minute workshops, and I felt like I'd had a full hour's workout. Maybe because I was am particularly unfit, but also because the exercises were really, really effective and weren't overly difficult for me to manage. They were achievable for me, but really did the work. So this is what I've done Pilates before, so I kind of knew what to expect. But those particular exercises I found to be really powerful. Yeah. So I highly recommend checking Gila's out. And you do loads of free stuff. Yeah. On LinkedIn, you're a massive content creator, and I love to see your posts. So you do so well. Like I said, you really do. You show up, you're consistent with your business and your media, but you're doing some really great content. So I highly recommend going to check out Gila's LinkedIn. But also your second tip, you will always be too busy to exercise until you commit to not being busy and putting your health and fitness first. Well, I think that's a good way to kind of round off that bit, isn't it? You will always be too busy to exercise until you commit to not being busy and putting your health and fitness first. I feel like you kind of wrote that just for me. It's just for me, that one.
Yeah, and we wear, especially business women, especially you're running your own business, and whatever, you are busy. And we sort of wear it as a bit of a badge of honor. I remember, other mums would catch me in the playground and say, oh, how are you? Oh, yeah, I'm busy. Good, but I'm busy. And it's sort of like, yeah, look at me. It's like an expectation in society that we have to meet. And we, as the modern day woman, have to take on everything and be able to juggle it all perfectly without dropping anything and just be, hey, look at me. And that's not real. It's not good to be busy, so much so that your mind is just overwhelmed, all the time. And there's our mental health, which obviously has become quite a topic of conversation in recent years, but it is just as important, as your physical health, if not more so, because one will affect the other. And yes, so having just saying to yourself, I'm not busy. You may be productive. You've got a plan. You know what you're doing, but just deciding, no, actually, I'm not busy. I have enough time to get done. I'll do everything I want to that's important to me. Because we often fill our time with things that aren't important. They might be urgent, or they might actually be not important at all, or not urgent, like scrolling through Facebook or something, that sometimes it grabs you and 15 minutes has gone. You're like, oh my God, what have I done? I've just scrolled through Facebook and gone down some rabbit hole somewhere. And just saying, actually, what is important to me? If these are important to me, then that is what I need to prioritise. And I would sort of argue that your health and fitness as a businesswoman, or just for yourself, but to run a business, you've got to be in the best version of yourself, physically and mentally, to be able to run that business well, and be a role model, have the energy to run it, and everything else that comes with doing a business. So it is just about, it's a bit of a shift in your mind of feeling that actually, instead of everything's being thrown on you, you're actually, hold on, I'm sort of taking charge here. I'm going to decide what I'm going to do. And actually, you know what? I've decided I'm not going to be busy. I'm going to do this and this and this, and this is what's important. And just like take a breath.
That's why I love the title of your book. I choose to move, because the word choose gives us options, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yes. Yeah, it's not a chore. It should be enjoyable, and if it's enjoyable, you want to do it, and then you're halfway there.
Absolutely. So, Gila, with just a few minutes left, I would love you to tell us how people can connect with you, what you're offering at the moment, because I know you do you do in-person stuff? I know you do online stuff, and you have your membership. Do you do in-person as well?
Yeah. So online, you'll find me on LinkedIn, like you said, and on Facebook and Instagram, not so much, but I am there. You'll also find me on YouTube. So if anyone watching, whenever wants to try out, I've got a whole YouTube channel, which is Gila Archer Pilates, and there's lots of different little videos, challenges. There's some fun challenges on there, like the sock challenge and the stand up, sit down challenge, as well as some little bite-sized Pilates sessions. I'm also, so I'm based in Derbyshire. So if people are local, I run a class, which people are able, welcome to come to, and I do one-to-one in-person sessions as well. In terms of what I'm offering, obviously there's my book, so if people are interested, and my journal. So if people are interested in finding out a bit more about why moving is so important for us today, and how they can perhaps implement it really easily, without any overwhelm or stress. And then, yes, I have my online membership. So the online membership is called Core, and it is really tailored, for those busy professional women. And you have a program each month, and you can follow it along. It's all done for you. And one of my members said, it's just gold, Gila. She said, because I have so much to think about, so many decisions to make. I don't have to think about anything, because you've done it all for me. I just do what you say and just follow along and whatever. But I'm there to support you online as well. It's not you're not just left to your own devices.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's in, as you say, the modern world we live in, we're trying to do as much to save time. So I personally feel time traveling is time wasted where I could be doing something else more useful. So doing stuff online is a good option for people to get it fitting into their lifestyle, I guess. So, well, it's been lovely to have you here today, Gila. Thank you for sharing your passion for what you do and helping to share your expertise with a few tips in the Boost Yourself journal. So if you would like to purchase either a copy of the Boost Yourself journal or Gila's books, then we'll pop the links into the video afterwards, so that you could purchase those. But please do connect with Gila on LinkedIn, Facebook, or Instagram, or, as she said, YouTube. Because she has bags and bags of content and is really passionate about what she does. Really helpful for all sorts of bits and pieces of information, such as randomly plantar fasciitis. You recommended to me to use massage balls because I was really struggling with plantar fasciitis, and I found that they really, really helped. So it's just random facts of information like that that are really helpful to know. That was completely random. Anyway, I shall wrap up for now, but please, Gila, add in your contact links for the books, etc., and then people can get in touch.
Will do. Thank you very much, Becky, for inviting me on.
Thank you for joining us. Lots of love, Gila. Take care.
Thank you. Bye.